You know what's remarkable about the First Amendment? I guess that's a broad question, but because a lot's remarkable. But one of those things is it's only 45 words long. But tucked inside it is something that the founders believed was absolutely essential to a free society. And that is the right of the people to peacefully protest. And this right is, well, at issue given the recent happenings in our country and I guess most specifically Minnesota. The 2 recent killings by ICE agents have been explained as self-defense, with the administration claiming that the victims were not being peaceful. Well, this video isn't about whether these protesters and these victims were peaceful or not, although what happened, it's unforgivable. Let me just say that. No, this video is actually about the origins of the right to peacefully protest and why we have it, why it's so important, and if we lose it, do we lose America? To understand the importance of peacefully protesting, you have to go back, like almost everything constitutional, way back to colonial America. The colonists were at the time furious, seemingly mad about everything. An anger management problem, perhaps, but specifically, they were upset about taxation without representation, the Stamp Act, and British soldiers being quartered in their homes. They were angry about a lot of stuff. And they wanted to meet. They wanted to organize and petition their government for change. Fair enough. But the British response was predictable. It was simple. They just shut it down. Well, colonial assemblies were dissolved when they became too outspoken. Town meetings were curtailed, and then in 1774, Parliament, they passed something called the Massachusetts Government Act, which limited town meetings to just 1 per year, unless the royal governor gave special permission. And the message was pretty clear. Sit down, stay quiet, and obey. Obey your rulers. And the founders remembered this. They had lived it, and they were determined that no American government would ever have that kind of unchecked power again. So when James Madison drafted what would become the First Amendment in 1789, he proposed language that directly reflected those experiences. His draft protected the right of people to assemble peacefully. This was important to him. That word, peaceably, it matters. In fact, it's one of the first explicit qualifiers in the Bill of Rights. The founders, they weren't, protecting riots or violence. That wasn't their intent. They were protecting organized dissent, the right to gather, speak out, and demand accountability from the government. Madison later made that philosophy very, very clear during a debate in Congress. He, in fact, explained that the power to judge and criticize a government belongs to the people over the government, not the government over the people. And that idea at the time was revolutionary. And today it's really important. Always has been. And for centuries, kings and parliaments, they decided what people could say and where they could gather. Madison said, "No, thank you. We're not having any of that." Well, Benjamin Franklin, you may have heard of him. He captured the same principle, but even more bluntly. writing that freedom of speech is a fundamental pillar of free government, and that when it's taken away, a free society cannot survive. Think about that. Well, today, whenever people march for a cause, whether you agree with them or not, that's the First Amendment in action. Civil rights marchers in the 1960s, women's suffrage activists about a century ago, labor organizers every decade that I know, and protesters in Minnesota now. All of them are exercising a right that the founders viewed as essential to keeping the government accountable. I mean, democracy isn't just about voting every few years. It's about an ongoing conversation between the people and the government. And sometimes that conversation happens in the streets, outside City Hall, or wherever citizens gather to make their voices heard. Because in America, we decided long ago that the people have the right to tell their government when something is wrong. And no official, no matter how powerful, no matter how egotistical, gets to silence that ever. And by the way, if you've enjoyed this video, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Thanks.